The question that we're asking ourselves today is what makes a piece timeless, and or what makes timeless pieces? But before we get into that, let me drink my coffee. Now, after I got that power up, I'm ready to have this conversation and sit down and talk to you from a one-to-one perspective here. Now, the reason I'm bringing this conversation up is because I had a nice little comment by a fellow fashion NPC in my comment section for my other YouTube video, and what a great comment it was. Let's read it together like a storybook. I have it here, I saved it, and if I do sound a little sick, it's because I am. I've been sick for the past I've been sick for the past week. It's not COVID, it was just a flu or something, and I wasn't able to make a YouTube video because I was dying in bed. I was sleeping all day, and I was kind of off social media for a little bit, but I'm back. I feel a little bit better. I might sound a little stuffy, but I wanted to make this video because I felt better, and I have an urge to make this video because what a great comment Carter wrote me. So let's read it together like a little bedtime story. So Carter says, "This feels kind of vague, and while maybe not meaningless, I didn't really come away with an idea of what minimalist clothing would look like. All of the definitions felt reclusive. A timeless wardrobe is built out of minimalist clothes that can be worn regularly without people noticing while still looking nice. You never really defined what minimalist clothes are though. Are regular blue jeans timeless? What about a pair of corduroys? All of the models and companies you link seem like they're geared towards one specific style of minimalism, which with most of them selling slacks as their primary form of bottom wear, for example. Are slacks timeless then?" What a great comment, you know? Thank you, Carter, for the nice comment. I really do appreciate it, and I think you did ask some great questions, and with those questions, I have to answer them. And I encourage anyone, if I ever make a video in the oncoming future, I encourage you to write out a nice, thoughtful comment like this. Please don't bash me. My ego's so small already. But if you want some more explanation, or maybe you have a question to a question, I might make a response video, because this is a great comment for me to respond to, because it also does add some more of an educational twist to it, because he brought up blue jeans and he brought up slacks. Are these timeless pieces? What is timeless? What makes something timeless? And that is a great question to really, dive into. So let's get more personal. Let's bring in the camera here. Let's bring it in a bit. We're close and personal now. I read all the comments of everyone complaining about this looking photoshopped, or there's too much going on over here. Now I have my Chrome Hearts hat over there. It's fake. I got it from an Elixir NPC a while back. He traded it to me. I just got it for funsies. But anyway, now that we're nice and personal here, let's really get into this conversation that I've been really curious to just get into. I've been wanting to get into this. So I'm gonna split it up into two other stages. So we just got through stage 1. Now we're gonna go into stage 2 and then stage 3. So what is a timeless piece? I talked about it very briefly and slightly. I've mentioned timeless pieces are items that are basic and that don't really get a lot of attention. These pieces are usually formed around minimalistic items and or pieces, and like how Carter brought up, a lot of the pieces that I brought up, or even the stores I showed, are geared towards a specific type of minimalism. So meaning it's different genres of fashion, different styles that people would, get themselves into. And although that is very true, minimalism does stem into a lot of different things. There is darker minimalism, like dark academia and stuff, but those are very basic stuff. But it does have a specific genre. Like Carter mentioned, there are different genres that I had put into my Olive Clothing's more UK minimalism, while at Soul's more of the Japanese, Korean streetwear minimalism. And it goes back and forth. There's a spectrum to a lot of different types of minimalism, and it really does depend on what you're trying to cater towards. And of course, there are going to always be very genre orientated type stuff, and you do have the normal minimalistic American minimalism, which would be Co's. I don't want to categorize anything, but I gave options just because maybe you like the UK based type styles and the way they fit, the cuts and the materials they use, or maybe you like the Korean streetwear minimalism with the slacks and trousers and stuff like that. Now, it does bring a question: what is really timeless? And it's kind of an opinion. It's really opinion based, but I will get into that later. I do want to talk about the one thing that he did bring up was, are blue jeans timeless? Are they considered timeless? timeless. Before talking about timeless pieces, we should also talk about fads and classics. Now, blue jeans or denim would be categorized under a classic. Now, you might be asking yourself, what is a classic in fashion? So, let's Google search that. I don't want to give you misinformation here, but so a classic fashion is a style that lasts for several seasons, sometimes even years, and is accepted by a wide range of people. Classics are those styles that you don't even have to think about. You just know they will be acceptable from one year to the next. Running shoes are a good example of a classic style. Denim jeans are a classic. Leather jackets are a classic. Doc Martens are a classic. This is when a society or a large group of people define an item that is consistently acceptable throughout different trend cycles, throughout like the consistency of time. They will be everlasting. We see this with Doc Martens, a great example. Doc Martens come in and out of the trend cycle and become very popularized. While they die down a little, they still continue to be in that, that cycle of being acceptable, not a fad. And that's the second question, what is a fad? Because a fad does come up into a lot of things. Varsity jackets are fads. Dunks will be a fad. I don't know about Jordan 1s. I can't really say about that, but let's look up what a fad is, what a fashion fad is. The fashion fads are novelty-driven fashion choices. A fad is often referred to as catching on with the larger population, but will often fade as quickly as it appears. The easiest way to remember a fad is through simple alteration. Fads fade. So, meaning varsity jackets and like the vintage wave could be considered a fad, something that comes very fast or dies out very soon. I don't really know if vintage would be considered one of them, but varsity jackets, these like staple items that we see during a certain trend cycle, will come in and out of like the cycle very fast and die out, and people won't really care about it or will just be tired of it. Carhartt and Dickies can be considered somewhere around there as a fad, but not really. But fashion fads, that is, you will know when it is a fad, when it is, and it's something that will never come back into the trend cycle and or is only acceptable when it's in the trend, when it's trending, when it's a nice cool thing because everyone's wearing it, compared to a classic like blue jeans and denim. Denim's always going to be a consistent staple and is always going to be a classic because those never die out. Different cuts of denim, like skinny jeans, straight leg, wide fit, carrot fit, all these different types of cuts will can be fads, and we do see that with us getting into more baggier silhouettes. That can be a fad. Now for me, the baggier silhouettes are always going to be a timeless thing for me just because of my body. But furthermore, fads, classics, those two things can be determined by the certain item or piece, but at the end of the day, it really does come down to how you view these pieces in your wardrobe. Now, timeless to me is very opinion based, and that's kind of where it gets into my third thing, where these opinions of whether you like them or not, or if you're going to wear them consistently throughout a day-to-day basis, whether it's throughout the months, throughout the years, or if it's just staying in your wardrobe for a long time, that is when it becomes a timeless piece for you. I do really want to pin this into your head. Timeless is up to you in terms of, will this continue to stay in my wardrobe for a long time? And a long time means for longer than a year or longer than 5 months, something that's going to continue to grow with you and stay with you for a long time. Beanies, like a black beanie, can be timeless in itself. A black shirt can be timeless because you can pair them with almost literally anything. Now, if we're getting into the nitty-gritty and the small details like Carter wants me to do, there are different cuts of stuff like skinny jeans, baggy jeans, wide fit, and like I mentioned, timeless can represent something different for different people. Skinny jeans will never be timeless for me just because my legs cannot fit into them. Wide fit, carrot fit, and balloon fit are the types of pants that will be timeless for me forever, even when the whole like baggy clothes is gonna die at some point and we go back to more skinnier, more slim fit era, or that cycle reappears where it's now skinny and or form fitting. I can never get into that just because my body does not allow that, and my silhouette just looks terrible with very slim fitting clothes, and I'm continuously going to wear baggier clothes and or clothes that are slightly form fitting, not on the regular fit but still like slightly showing my figure a bit, high-waisted pants and such. But like for me, not to others, wide fit and like balloon fit and these baggier silhouetting clothes are gonna seem not so timeless, but more of a trend if I'm following them. But in general, it really just depends on my body and how it fits on me and what makes me feel comfortable, and I know what fits on my body, and that is that. So even though it might be following the trendy thing or whatever of like, baggier clothes, makes you look cooler or whatever, I'm gonna forever wear these clothes. I'm not gonna stop wearing baggier clothes or the certain cuts that I've mentioned. I'm always going to wear them, and even when the trend dies and it becomes more form-fitting, regular fit type stuff, I will never go back to that, because my thighs do not let me fit into anything. If you're wondering what my thigh on inches, I have a 27-inch thighs last time I checked. I think they might be, well, I'll just say I have 26-inch thighs, so like those bad boys do not fit into like regular fit or skinny. Like I could never wear that, and I'm always going to be wearing like more clothes that provide more room in that area, because that's kind of what my body needs. So that's going to be timeless for me. As for you, it might not. Something you might have free range into wearing regular fit, and you can evolve into like other things, and that's good for you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, brother. You don't got the thighs, man. But like the thing is, it does really depend from person to person on what is timeless for them and what they see themselves wearing. Because at the end of the day, it won't be timeless if you wear it for only a month. It comes down to your way of thought and seeing this basic piece like on the wall. You're looking at it and you're like, will I wear this for a long time? Will this stay in my wardrobe, and will I continue to rotate it out? And if the answer is yes, that is timeless on itself, and it continues to help you out, helps build outfits, continues to make you nice and big and strong. And I think that's all that really matters at the end of the day. But I try and speak very general when I'm talking about stuff like that, unless I'm talking about something super specific where it's like, you need this specific thing. And I don't think I'll ever do that, just because fashion's very subjective. So I will always take a stance of generality, meaning it won't be so pinpointed. Wow, that was the first time I coughed during this 20 minutes. That's insane. Now, I did give a lot of options, like Carter mentioned, that they are catered to different genres, and that in a sense is it's kind of just up to the viewer to decide what's going to work best for them. And of course, I can't dictate like, yes, this is timeless for sure, this is going to be timeless for you, and might be timeless for somebody else. But it's always good to have like a plethora of options and different styles and genres. Now, like some UK brands are going to look a lot different than some Japanese or Korean brands, and I think it's nice to have like a different categories of different styles. And he mentioned our slacks timeless. Our slacks timeless, I believe. Almost decently well enough, not talking about cuts, but trousers are always going to be timeless. They're going to always be something that people pick up. Trousers in general are always going to be a classic. Denim is always going to be a classic. Those two pairs of pants are always classics and are always being picked up, whether it's for formal wear, casual wear, whatever that may be. Denim pants not so much, but trousers definitely on the formal wear and more casual wear, while denim's more on the casual wear. I don't really see many people trying to wear denim as a very formal piece, but correct me if I'm wrong. But again, yeah, those two pieces are definitely timeless in themselves, but it's like Carter mentioned, there are different genres, and there isn't really any specification for what makes something timeless besides the characteristics, which are specifically the plainness of them. The colors are just, there's no graphics on them, there's no butterfly print on them, there's no embroidery on them. They're just very plain on themselves. And like I mentioned in my past video, I beat around the bush a little, it's kind of evading the question a little, but the thing is, I do very much still stand by like the fact that it's timeless when people don't remember them because they don't create a very statement on themselves. You kind of have to create that statement with pairing of other clothing pieces with them. Now, timeless pieces can differ from person to person, but at the end of the day, they all share the same characteristics of it being very basic, very bland, and just not very, it being very subtle. There's not much going on with them besides maybe the cuts that you decide to choose, and therefore it really just depends on where you're going with your minimalism at the time and place. But I think Carter opened a great conversation, and I think that it was such a great comment. I needed to make a video on it, and I got to talk about fads, and I got to talk about classics, and those were two things that I had wanted to cover at some point, but I got to cover them in this little video, just very short. Yeah, this is a very short video. I just wanted to cover like the comment, and I felt like, hey, it opened the door for me to talk about classics and fads and just timeless, and what timeless even represents to me, and what could hopefully open a new realm of what timeless might be for you. But yeah, in closing, I hope you enjoyed this small like video that I made. I don't know how long this will be, and I hope to make more videos in the upcoming future, and I hope you enjoy my little conversations with you and me in my room. I do want to emphasize that these videos do not have any scripts. And I think I've gotten a few people that DM me that were like saying like, oh, do you script your videos, or like, what is your vibe of your channel or your YouTube? Like, what is the plan? And to be honest, I've always had an envisionment of just like, I'm a random guy that came up to you in a coffee shop that sat down and decided to, chat with you about something. I do want to come off more organically instead of me having a bunch of like, let me read my script real quick and then just, function like that. I like to divulge information. I do have like some bullet points and stuff that, of course, to keep me on track, I do need to keep myself on track just because I do ramble, and I can very much so. But to make a more concise video and to make it a little bit more authentic to me is by allowing myself some wriggle room to just speak about, some certain things, because there's a lot for me to talk about, and I do very much enjoy just kind of what it feels like a conversation with another human being across the screen from me. So that's kind of like how my videos are formatted, if you were just curious. But again, if you're new to the channel, my name is JQ, aka Fashion Elitist, and it's nice to meet you. And I hope you continue to follow me as I grow and continue to get more sick or, more sad, however that turns out. I've had a very bad past month actually recently. I got a ticket for $500. I got into a car accident and then I got sick, and what a great month, what a great way to end a month. But the one thing is, hey, we hit 5,000 subscribers. I'm really happy about that. I think at 10,000 I'll do a Q&A or something, but I do have a lot more content coming up, and I do appreciate everyone that continues to support me on my Instagram and that just DMs me about stuff, and everyone that comments. So I appreciate all of you. I'd like to give a great warm shout out to everyone on my Patreon. I very much do appreciate y'all, because you have very much helped me out a lot with all the donos and stuff, and I very much appreciate you. I do have more videos coming out for the Patreon that I will not post on YouTube, just because some of the content that I do want to make, I do want to kind of gatekeep, because it's kind of skeevy, kind of some skeevy information there. But again, if you want to support me on Patreon, you can go ahead and find me on Patreon and link in bio. And if you want to get in contact with me, send me an email or DM me on Instagram. I will answer. And hopefully the next video will be on something interesting. This was a great topic. Thank you, Carter, once again. I appreciate the comment. And if you guys ever feel like questioning a fashion elitist, go ahead and comment something down below on any of my videos, and I might get back to it and read it. And if I feel touched by the comment and I'm like, this is something I want to make a video on, I will make the video on it. But anyway, I hope everyone has a great day, and remember to fill the void. Thanks for supporting a guy